Yeah, I'm so glad that I actually had diary when I was abroad. So it kind of interesting to see 10 years ago I was in Chile at this time actually. And I was just reading, I had a good day, I had a bad day. Yeah.
How long were you in Chile for?
Almost 5 months.
Wow.
That
You
was like
went,
the longest but the most affordable country I could go to learn
oh,
Spanish. So I just went there.
that's smart. So you can speak Spanish pretty well.
Just chit-chatting.
That's pretty good. I I studied Spanish all throughout my schooling, and I think if I were able to go there for just 6 months, I could be fluent.
Yeah, but and then I realized, I mean, nowadays with the technology, there are all these like what do you call it, poly. They haven't even been outside of the country or they learn through social media. I was so impressed how they don't have to be out of their country to be fluent. But I think for me, having that abroad experience, it's irreplaceable with, day-to-day interaction and the experience.
I agree. It gives you structure and full immersion.
I am so grateful looking back 10 years ago, I made this decision. It still affect me who I am today. So
Yeah, man. So what, you graduated college and you just decided to go there to learn Spanish?
it was actually during college. I really need to thank whoever decreased my major requirement. And somehow I was able to still graduate, not that much of a delay. And because participating through my college, they have some grants and stuff. So it's like it's yeah, they're giving us like I don't remember how many thousands of dollars to go abroad for that 5 months versus, I'm in the summer program for like 14 days for 3,000. Well, thank you for having me, Brian, to, be your guest at the at your podcast. It's definitely my first time and I find it really cool you're doing stuff like that. So
Well, I'm just doing it for fun, but yeah, it's good to talk to you.
yeah, I mean we just met in Oregon and to be honest, we didn't really have that much of a get to have a deep interaction and then you're like abroad here and there. So
For sure. Oregon's my hometown, PCCMA, grew up there. I stopped going, I think, in 2020. You said you went to Chile and then you also went to, oh, it's Santiago, Chile. And Granada, Spain.
yeah, that's a city.
So you went to two different places.
Yeah, because when I was in Chile, I think after like 1 month, I was supposed to be there for 1 semester, but I was like, this is not enough. I want a whole year. So I'm grateful that my parents would let me do another program.
Wow. So you did back to back from Chile all the way to Spain.
I think after Chile, I was back for 8 months in the States before I head to Spain.
Oh, you really pursued it. You followed your instincts.
That yeah, they caught that travel bug and it's just, I think study abroad and travel are two different things because I mean, it's different because at most you get like a 3 week, let's say that's a 2 week experience. But being abroad, you learn how to live like a local, you interact with the locals. So I would say they're different. And my hobby is study abroad. I've only done that once or twice, I guess.
No, my first time was in 2012. I agree. To really, I think, study abroad, you really get to know the culture, you meet people, you build relationships.
And I learn more about myself as well.
Mm. Yeah, traveling 2 weeks, it's so unfair. That's why every time I do long form traveling abroad, study abroad, it's always between jobs.
Yeah, I guess that's the reality when you don't need that PTO choke you to actually have the good time frame to experience.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the PTO, we only get 2 weeks a year, some people.
Oh man, that's so sad.
Yeah. 2015, you went to Chile, you studied for, you said 5, 6 months, and you really liked it. You wanted to extend, but instead you went back and then you went to Spain.
My original goal to study abroad is just to immerse myself to learning the language. I figure Spanish is like, if not, I don't know about now, the second or third mostly spoken language. and I already have Chinese and I guess English. So might as well go down the road. I don't know about Hindu now. I think it's like really high with the Indian population, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
back then, yeah. So I didn't know I could actually meet friends and experience things. All I was thinking was just the language, and also definitely learn more about myself and come back to the same place, but feel like I'm a different person with a different perspective on things. I picked the programs I picked because they were cheapest and I can stay in the place longer than like 2 or 3 months. So that's why I picked those countries. So I didn't tell people that, when I apply, I don't say because it's cheap. That's why I picked those countries.
When I went to China, my cousin said, "Let's go to China," and I had no idea about money and stuff. I was only 23 at the time, so. But I guess when you went in 2015, you were probably even
I was
younger.
like undergrad, like the third year of undergrad, sorry,
You were only like
fourth
19 or
year,
20.
something like. Yeah. Well, I mean, I gotta follow the budget, like FAFSA, and I have to make sure I appreciate my whole family lends me money to go abroad, and I'm paying them off now, but it's totally worth it
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Well, why do you say it's so worth it?
because, well, that's just my personal experience. Because I have met people that were homesick the whole time they were abroad, so I can't speak for those folks. Oh, because everything's new. Like I recalled when it was my first time to the continent of South America when I landed. I was like, look at from the window in the airplane. I don't know where I am. And then we landed at the airport and then we took a bus to meet up with a group. And it's just like, wow, like I've never seen a street like this. Like, where am I? And I don't know, it's just that feeling of everything is you've never seen.
Mm.
And it really sparked your curiosity. So I don't know how else to answer this question because that's a really open-ended question.
No, that's what we're here for. I want to know more. That's the secret. What's the secret to happiness and life and travel?
When I was abroad, I had some unforgettable events. When I was in Chile, which was 2015, they were actually having the Copa America, which is like soccer or you call it football. And Chile was in the final against Argentina, and Chile won. And
Oh,
like we were at the bars and the main plaza of the capital of Chile. And it felt like the world was ending or there was like a protest going on because literally we walk outside of the street once they became the champion and then like there's like the flag and then there's like fire. It's like all chaotic. I thought it was the end of the world. People like jumping in the MTR or the not the MTR, sorry, the metro subway. Like it was like the world's end, and I can definitely feel how passionate the South Americans, or if not, at least in Chile, how crazy they are about like crazy and passionate about ball. It's like literally when I was like doing homework and where I live, and then I hear the taxi or the bus honking. It's like someone scored. So yeah, that's one of the things.
the whole environment was exciting. The city, and then you come back to the US and it's pretty quiet or something.
I felt like people were cold when I came back. Cause when one of the cultural shock that I had when I was in Chile was because to greet, I actually forgot. I think you only do the right cheek. Only one side. But when I was in Spain, it's like you do one, I think it's the right side first and then the left side. And I know other countries it can be different, like a side hug, or other country it's like right side first and the left. So if I don't remember, I'm gonna wait for their cheek to come so I know which cheek to go. So you don't get into like accident like kissing. Anyways, yeah, when I was in Chile, that was one of the cultural shock how to greet someone, even if it's like my classmate's father. Like we do like a cheek. Coming from an immigrant with a Hong Kong or Chinese background, we don't greet people with our cheek. So yeah, wait, why did I get to that? That's like one of the cultural shocks I had when I were there. Not mentioning the food, the environment, the weather, the language. Yes, the language was definitely rough. Just don't expect people to really speak a lot of English if you go
Right.
abroad. Yeah, I think that's the best case scenario.
So you picked Spanish because was it practical or just because it was the country that you said was the most affordable?
My first intention is Spanish because I think it was relatively one of the top,
Right. Okay.
spoken language in the world. I guess thanks to the Spaniards back in the days. And then from there, I looked at the Spanish speaking countries and I narrowed down from the cost and duration of abroad. Yeah.
What did it feel like for 5, 6 months?
I know the fact because the fact that I know I'm just in this place for a certain month, the way I live my everyday and my life is different because I know
Mm.
there's an end to it. It would have been different if I, let's say, got dropped off somewhere for like 5, 6 years, or I won't ever go back to where I'm from. Definitely would have been different, my mindset. So with the limited 5 months, I want to make the most out of it, like every Friday, every day, or every week. In terms of, for me, I'm not gonna stay in my apartment like all the time, and then yeah, maybe visit some places there, not too far from the capital.
Hmm.
And there's some events or meeting other exchange students. I find that when you're abroad in a new country, different language, you really need to take a step further to meet people. Because the locals, they have their friends and relatives here. They don't need you. But it's easier to meet people from other countries that were also abroad because they were also far from their families and friends.
How big was your program?
I think so. My program is a bunch of like a system of schools in California. So I think we maybe have like 20, 21. It's not as many as people going to Europe or Asia. Like
Uh,
who would pick South America, you know?
a lot of people do.
Oh, really?
Well, I just know I have my teacher in China. She is teaching Chinese in Bolivia,
Oh,
but that's interesting. But from what I understand, everyone she teaches is like local, like Peruvians. They're all like Spanish. But for your program, was it just one class, or was it like a or was it like a Spanish program, people from around the world?
I think it has some kind of Spanish immersion program with it. I think before school started, they had us like maybe 6 weeks or a month of Spanish class, because the classes we had to take weren't all in Spanish.
Mhm.
For me, fortunately, I was able to afford to take classes where they were mostly GEs. I'm not taking my major classes there. Not anatomy and Spanish. That's not my purpose. So I would be taking, I think like there's a Spanish class, and then I actually took a swimming class.
Well,
I took a choir class, and let's see what else.
oh, so it was an exchange, not necessarily to learn Spanish.
I mean, I'm learning Spanish. My classroom is my whole experience
Hmm.
outside of classrooms.
Oh, so in addition to the exchange program, like just you signed up for gym swimming classes.
Yeah, I can just, as long as I meet like certain, I guess, elective or
Oh,
whatever requirements.
okay.
And then they made us do some kind of internship if we can. And a lot of them are teaching English. But I was grateful I was able to find something more maybe like health, sort of semi related internship where we would go to stage like a food distribution center. And so
Mm,
we meet people from maybe that district, relatively like lower social class or economic status. So we distribute a portion of food to them and interact with them. And then we can take like blood pressure for them. Yeah, so that was the internship. I also had actually my hardest class was the nutrition class. All of my classmates there, I think they were trying to be a nutritionist or a dietitian. Yeah, I think those were the classes I were taking.
that's a good program. You got everything,
Yeah.
school, work, extracurriculars.
To me, the nutrition class is the hardest because I think it was like it's like the lower division of people that actually want to go into nutrition with all the locals. But I think they also have one, two classes for us to take, like for our program, where we also get units, so they would watch for our Spanish level. Yeah, I think, and then we have some field trips here and there. Like apparently Chile is well known for its wine. I guess it was like one of the times when I get a little tipsier than I have ever been in my life. And when you're abroad, you do things that you don't usually do. You know, like we'll go clubbing, and you just don't. Yeah, you just don't do things that you normally do. I'll keep it there.
That's cool. So tell me about you still keep the people you met, your classmates, they're also from California.
Yeah, I think it took some time to figure out. You know, you have your program group, which is good because you guys are all experiencing the same thing. If it's homesick, cultural shock. And then I started to meet some locals through classes or actually attended a local church. And then there's also a group of other international people that are abroad. And at my university, there was actually a Chinese Learning Institute. And I'm not surprised. I mean, China and I guess more central to South America, maybe trading, and there's the importance with it. I joined at the Asian Cultural Club there actually, and I met a bunch of like South Americans or like Brazilians who are into like Korean culture, and I met a Korean professor that's been living in Chile for a while, like promoting like Korean and I guess Chilean culture, and definitely met some Asians that were immigrants, you know, are second generation of their parents, and so
Mm,
their mother tongue is Spanish, but at home they speak I don't know Korean or Chinese, so that's pretty cool.
yeah, I met this last time in China, I met a guy from well, I met a guy from Peru and I also met a guy from Panama. I was so jealous because they could speak Chinese, English, and Spanish.
Yeah, I mean it's never too late. I honestly it's maybe not as common to speak more than one language. All maybe also the way their immigrant parents foster the environment for them to learn or practice that language. I think those immigrants when I was abroad, I think their parents did a good job having them maintaining the language at least.
Tell me one person you met there. Was it whether it be a
Oh,
local or international, and then what what was that like?
oh man, I have so many people in mind. I am going to mention this friend that I met in my choir class. She's a local Chilean. But what stands out is what I realized is because of there was a lot of protests regarding to their education system when I was there. And I noticed how there was indeed like a great social inequality. Like I've met people that are so fluent in English, like my Chilean friend that I met in the choir class, who would read the whole Harry Potter, the book in English. And then that I will also meet people that like someone in their 20s studying law, but like don't even know how 26, what's 26 means. So there's like huge difference I can tell, I guess depends on your economic status, your education, where you're at. And this friend of mine, given her really good English, we're able to have a deeper interaction and she's really friendly. Her name is Sierra. Javier, it's a really common name in Chile. It's like
Mm,
Maria in Spain. And she's also into language. And so we would always chat and talk about different things. And I think her major was math, but she ended up became an interpreter just because she's so gifted with language, to be honest.
wow.
And she was into, I think like in Harry Potter, there's like the sports called the Quidditch. And they actually have a Quidditch club there, and we would sometimes play on campus where
Okay.
you're really having like the broom like right between you and you're like trying to chase and catch the whatever that thing's called. It's been a while. But
The snitch or something?
yeah, the snitch, yeah. Yeah, so I guess when I left, they give this as like my goodbye gift.
Oh, that's very memorable.
Good.
I can't see it now, but it's all good.
Yeah, like that.
Cool.
But yeah.
Santiago Midgets.
Yep.
Nice.
So that was my, I guess, goodbye gift. And yeah, Javi definitely played a huge role of my time in Chile.
Nice. Why was it so important though? Like why was it so eye-opening?
Because I think South America and the Asian culture, it's kind of foreign. Like when I realized it got harder when people ask me where I'm from. Because sometimes I would say California, sometimes I would say Hong Kong, China, or I just say Hong Kong, right? And then they would be like, is Hong Kong the capital of Japan? So like, even for me, I don't know much about South America. If you ask me, it's not like, Europe or other
Yeah.
places. And what else? Mm,
So they were completely like different. It's a whole new world.
not mentioning the hour of the meal and the kind of food they eat. Chile has some good food, but I think for me, one of the hardest adjustment was they don't really have a dinner time thing. To me, when I was with my host mom, I felt like it's just around 8:30 to 8:45. You just kind of eat some bread and it's like same thing every night.
Well, I mean, that's what home life is, right? Family life.
Yeah, but I mean, like literally, they would call it toma once, which means I guess dinner is it's not really dinner, but they don't use the word dinner. It's literally, I mean, they have different kinds of bread. It comes in different shapes, but like the dinner was really to me the bread and the ham and the cheese and the bread. That was literally every night, or
Mm,
maybe the host mom I was with
yeah.
during that time she was 71 and maybe she's more the tradition,
Mhm.
and so that's the different kind of adjustment. And lunchtime, I think it was like 1-ish, which is typical. I think back then I was like, I have to be so like this
Wow.
that I was not flexible enough. But being abroad, I've learned to try to change, integrate myself to the locals' custom. Like in Spain, dinner time, I was walking around on the street at like 8 to 8:30. Nothing's open yet because normal dinner time is 9.
Crazy.
So yeah, so the normal lunchtime is 2. So when I lived with my host mom, we've all gotten trained that one piece of bread you get at 8:30 that lasts you to 2 p.m. Yeah, so there's like stuff like that. I've learned to be less rigid. I think I'm more of a rigid scheduled person.
Hmm.
What else? Chile is actually really unique because it's a really long country and it has different climate and geography. Like at the top, you have the desert, Kama Desert, that's near the border of Bolivia and Peru. And then in the south, you have all the way down in the south, there's like the Patagonia National Park, and then there's Easter Island, and yeah, it's it's beautiful.
So you probably have these great memories of Chile and you met so many people, but now like I didn't know this about you, but I wonder like do you get to share this with anybody?
When I came back, I was so excited to show the PowerPoint slides to my family. But, when you're just telling them and they didn't experience it, it's more like people that have shared the common experience with you that will be in the mood to talk to you about it, or people that have studied abroad, even if it's a different program, or more interested to hear about it.
Mm.
Honestly, this is my first time people actually want to hear it.
Man,
It took me 10 years later to talk about this.
maybe people don't, yeah, if they've never left the US or never studied abroad, it's really they just don't understand.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah. So, yeah.
But you do keep in touch, you said, right?
A few of them, I mean, we're still on social media. A lot of them actually have been asking me when I'm coming back. I really was trying to plan a trip because I'm also, I would say one of my closest group was like the church friends. And they were back then like 7, 8 years older than me. And now they're having kids and like married. So, like, I guess I would love to go back and sometime because it was sad. I think when I left 5 months later is wow, I didn't know farewell was a hard thing. It wasn't easy for me.
Mm.
When they gave me like some friends, they gave me like a notebook with, the like goodbye message, like pictures, and then one of that said, "See you in heaven," and that's kind of sad because it's
Mm.
like you met abroad, and honestly, you don't know when gonna see them. People
Mm.
moved away, but I think I've learned to instead of staying in that sad mode or nostalgic mode, learn to be grateful for the past, the memories that I had, and how do I live at the present, and then how does it change who I am today, and then I guess bring it to the future. Yeah,
That's very mature of you. I don't know how you learned that.
really,
Yeah. I mean, when you were on
because I tend to stay in the past, and then it just makes it sad because if you're stuck in the past and at the moment you're still stuck in back in the whatever days you're doing what, and then I don't know because it's gonna be your present is gonna be your past anyway. So definitely been learning about the theme of live at the present because it's gonna be my past. So
yeah, yeah. That reminds me of, I don't know if you know who Bob Iger is. He's the CEO of Disney. Disney's a really old company. Sorry on a tangent, but he said something about technology, Disney, and people were fearful of technology, but he said because it changes things. But he says you should respect your traditions and cultures, but you shouldn't fear the change. You should see it as an opportunity. Sorry, I don't know if that makes sense.
no, I think it definitely makes sense. I think my after being abroad, it changed me into I have to be more outspoken, whatever, and then so I went to grad school, right, physical therapy school, and then there was one thing I've been really wanting to do is travel therapy, which is
Mm,
it's like a travel nurse, every 3 to 6 months you move to a new place for a new contract.
yeah.
And each contract is about 3 months, 13 weeks. And I think my lifestyle during that time is still like live at the present and, make the most out of this 13 weeks. So I feel like my mentality is like a little different than when I'm in one place and, I don't know how long I'll be in this current job and kind of mentality. You would try to make the most out of it because once you leave this location, you don't know if you're coming back or when, depends on where.
Basically, I kind of agree with you. Like, you can enjoy the past, respect the past, but don't get stuck there. Use it and grow from it, right? So that was 2015 with Chile, and then you went back, you said, and then did you graduate?
Technically walked with my friends. I was just lacking like one internship thing. So if I finish all of them, then I graduate and I cannot participate in another abroad program.
Mhm.
So I have to have something that I have not completed. It was just a simple internship that I completed after I came back from Spain.
So you went in 2015, and then that was 5, 6 months, and then you came back, was it end of 2015?
And then some of the reverse cultural shock when I came back to the States where I missed that kind of like music they would play in South America or like reggaeton is one of type of it. I feel like people are more cold because down there, or in South America, people are really, or I don't know if it's just Latinos, they're more like, they call it cariñoso, like very, I don't know what's the English word for it.
War?
Like really,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like there's a spectrum because coming from the Asian culture, maybe we're on the other side of the spectrum, and then the US is like maybe in the middle.
Yeah.
When I first came to the US, oh, people are really nice, blah, blah, blah. And then when I went down there, like in South America, it's that end of the spectrum.
Mm,
When I came back to the States, I would feel the way I felt.
mm,
And I would like to play the music that when I was there. I think music is also a way to like recall your experience and time
yeah.
travel,
Mm.
environment. So that were some of the reverse cultural shocks. And I would start looking for like, I don't know, anything just Latin American
Mm.
food or restaurants when I came back to the States.
Let me see. So let's see, 2016, you may have study did another semester or quarter, and then you walked, and then middle of 2016, you went to Spain?
July, yeah, that was, I would say, the best summer of my life.
Oh,
Because so I picked Granada, let's see, because it was cheaper than Madrid or Barcelona.
uh-huh.
But I'm so glad I picked Granada because it's in the southern part of Spain. It's in the province, I think they call it the province, whatever they call it, of Andalusia. And
Mm,
summer, the daytime was also longer, and people were so chill. Like I recall the first weekend when I arrived Spain,
mhm.
the first phrase I learned was, "So we work to live, but we don't live to work." So that mentality is so extreme on the other side compared to, I guess, the Asian culture. And they also think in the US, you can also be a workaholic. It depends on how hard you want to work. So definitely learn how to enjoy life. And like even 11 p.m., the grandma will still be chasing their grandson in the plaza. Their social life is on the streets, not like inside the home. People were loud. It was a tiny little town called Cadiz. There's a lot of history in it. And then we also have some excursion where we like visit where they make olive oil or some kind of wine.
Mhm.
So yeah, so again, that part was an optional Spanish class to prepare us for when the real school semester starts. Classes are in Spanish again. Yeah,
You were there for one more quarter or semester or just the summer?
I was there for almost 8 months actually in Spain.
Oh, wow.
So there was like a month-ish of the summer program, and then I think it was so August or September was when school started, and it ended in I think almost February or late January. And then it was my first time in Europe. And so
Mhm.
towards the end, I traveled. I only went to Germany and the UK to visit friends.
Mhm.
I think I went to Cologne and Berlin.
Nice. Wow.
There's a lot to see in Berlin, given the history, the museums, I don't know, the current content culture. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, but I only what 45 days left, and yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go Italy next weekend,
Nice.
and then we still have to meet up some friends from our study abroad. Any
Well,
advice?
your goal right now is to learn German, right?
Yeah.
After these 45 days, I mean, I don't know if you have like a short-term or mid-term, long-term things that you were trying to like live abroad instead of, or are you thinking about long-term back to the US or like,
Well, it really depends where you can make a living. It's a lot to think about, so it's another period of transition. I did start applying for jobs in Amsterdam, but yeah, the reason why I came is just because the economy, I guess, wasn't very great this last year. So I thought, instead of waiting around applying for jobs, just
do something, right?
yeah.
That's cool. I guess it sounds like you're flexible or where there's like certain industry that you're looking at.
Well, mostly my education is MBA, International Studies. I did some work in tech and data, but I really don't know. I don't want to live to work. I know life is short. I'm 37 now, and I feel like I've lived half my life because another 37 years, I'm gonna be 74, and then I think that's it.
Well, I honestly totally agree. For the longer, I mean, I've only worked in the healthcare field for so many years, like three, four. I work with people from as young as to as old as like 106 or like in their 80s, 90s.
Um,
I feel like I have a checklist now in my 30s. There should still be a checklist. And then 40s, 50s, and then, who knows how long I have, maybe like 80.
yeah,
I feel like I'm already one third through my life, so I better think about, you know, do I want to use my time? What do I
yeah,
want to do? What really matters to me?
exactly.
I'm not stuck in a job for like, I mean, maybe that's just not for many years. And then if I want to travel or do something I want to try and I didn't get to try, that's not somewhere I want to be.
Well, you already did a lot of traveling, so most people never even leave or get the chance.
A guy from Switzerland, and he has been teaching French in Taiwan. He lived in China and lived in Taiwan for so many years. and he felt like Switzerland is just boring. It
Yeah.
depends on what you're looking for. It's like maybe it's beautiful, and maybe the lifestyle, it's like good after you're retired, from what my friend said.
All right, Claire, I think that's our time. We got to do this
Oh,
again.
I know we're gonna have another episode. I haven't even talked about like the country or whatever, but I wish you the. I mean, so you were trying to do like a little more traveling, right? Besides Italy, or
Yeah, yeah. I went to Amsterdam last weekend, so that was cool.
I've heard a lot of good things about Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So you were trying to look for advice to other recommendations on
Oh,
places to travel, or what?
yeah, I guess in the period of life transition, I think, where should I work? Where should I live? And how do you even do those things, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess depends on how, like, if you continue to like apply jobs. I mean, I assume you apply some maybe in the States, some in
Yeah.
Europe, and then see what respond first, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's the cost of living. Is it more affordable abroad, or
Well,
in
US
US
is
it
probably one of the most expensive countries for sure.
I think I
But
scared my friends from all over the world when I told them my tuition. Yeah, you're right.
damn. Yeah. All right. That was good. I think the time's gonna run out. You said 45 minutes?
Yeah, well, this I actually have. I think I have unlimited, but that's okay. I think it's a good time to stop, so we kind of next time know what we're gonna maybe talk about, or specific. So hopefully it's not too scattered this time.
No, that was good. All right. That
Okay,
was
cool. Wow, thanks for having me, Brian.
Thanks, Claire. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I'm off.
Cool. All right.
Cool. Happy
Good night.
Monday. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.